The forbidden spiral tower exploded from within. Shockwave rings erupted from a single palm strike, thrown 10 billion times. 7 years earlier, the forbidden spiral tower's entrance sealed behind a 12-year-old genin named Sauta.
Let me out. The seal is alive. They left me here to die.
His cadet squad had already been slaughtered in the graduation trap. Suta was the only survivor. No scrolls, no master, no allies. Only one technique, a basic open palm, strike his grandfather taught him before he died.
If this is all I have, then I'll hammer it into the stone until it's the only truth left in this world.
He placed his palm against the cold stone, the last thing he had. Then he struck. The impact was dull, but he struck again and again. He began to count, each number a promise. He would not stop. He would perfect it until the technique surpassed all limits, until the tower itself could not contain it.
1
Months dragged inside the sealed tower. Sauta's body thinned, but his palm strikes never stopped. When his body gave out, he slept against the cold floor. When he woke, his palm was already raised.
10,000. 20,000. The impact feels different. Lighter.
Then it happened. A single flat strike sent a hairline crack spidering inward, deeper than muscle alone could manage.
This isn't strength. This is the Jutsu breathing. If it can warp stone already, then it's alive. My palm is teaching itself.
He pressed his fingers into the fracture and felt a faint thrum. Chakra residue from the stone itself, vibrating in answer.
I have nothing else. So I'll pour everything into this one thing until it breaks the world open.
The boy did not rest. Counting became his prayer. The strike his only conversation.
100,000. And the crack is still spreading. This is no longer a child's defiance.
3 years bled together. Suda grew lean as a blade, his palm strikes now snapping stone without strain.
80 million. The stone barely resists now. I feel the air itself starting to give way.
He thrust his palm forward, not into the wall, but toward empty air. A visible ripple trembled outward.
It's no longer just impact. My palm is pushing the world apart.
Then, a blue glow swallowed the darkness. A system alert flashed. Palm strike count, 100 million.
It's been watching me. Every single strike.
The cold numbers hovered. Undeniable. Proof that the tower was more than a prison. It was a test.
If this is a test, then I'll make the score so high it can't be ignored.
He didn't celebrate. He set the next line. 1 billion.
My body is the only scroll. My palm is the only jutsu. 1 billion, then even the tower will have to answer.
The count reached 300 million. He struck the air, and it cracked a white scar hanging in the darkness. The fracture collapsed with a thunderclap, and the tower moaned in response.
500 million. I am no longer hitting stone. I am hitting the world's edge.
A low groan vibrated through the walls, as if the tower itself was straining to speak.
It's reacting. Every strike echoes inside something alive. Something in this tower is watching me. It counts every strike.
He placed his palm on the trembling wall, feeling chakra pulse beneath the stone like a second heartbeat.
We're resonating. This tower isn't a cage, it's a crucible tuned to me. 1 billion. When I hit it, either the tower shatters or it reveals what it's been hiding.
He stepped back, the air still shimmering around his hand. The groaning stopped, but the presence did not. He thrust his palm toward a fallen stone, 15 paces away. The air rippled, and the stone shattered.
No contact. The force traveled through the air itself. The world is bending to my palm.
The system blazed. Palms strike count, 800 million.
It's accelerating. The count jumps millions with each strike now. I am feeding it something it wants.
He abandoned the solid wall. Every strike now lashed the empty air, shockwaves hunting debris across the chamber.
I've moved beyond force. I am commanding motion itself. This isn't a jutsu anymore. It's a law.
He shattered 3 falling stones with a single pulse. The system blinked. 950 million.
I am not counting anymore. The tower is counting for me. It wants me to reach it.
Each shockwave now made the spiraling walls splinter. The air shrieked, and dust rained from the ceiling.
999 million. One more push. Then the tower must answer.
Suta's palm snapped forward. The 1000th strike cracked the world. A system alert burned. Palm strike, count. 1 billion. Rank A. From the ruptured air. Chakra threads knotted into human shapes. Phantom warriors, silent and eyeless, stepped out of the dark.
They're not real. They're woven from the tower's own chakra. A test.
They attacked without warning. Sota blocked with his palm, shockwaves blunting blades that never existed.
You want to measure me? Then watch.
He weaved through the constructs, each palm thrust, deleting one phantom from existence.
They're getting faster. The tower is learning from my movements.
He ended the last phantom with a pulse that shook the entire spiral. Silence returned.
It wasn't trying to kill me. It was training me, forcing me to evolve under pressure.
Sota stood panting, his palm still glowing. The tower had revealed its nature. It was a forge, and he was the ore. Sota trained until every breath carried a number. At 5 billion strikes, the tower itself became a ringing bell.
You have poured your blood into these walls. Now, I may speak. I am a chakra construct, shaped to train one bloodline, yours.
Who built you? Who decided my suffering should be a test?
That name is sealed. Know only that completing 10 billion strikes will shatter this tower, and you with it.
It's warning me. This isn't just a forge, it's a suicide pact. But I've already died 1,000 times in here.
He looked up through the shattered floors at the distant peak. The count still ticking.
If you continue, your chakra pathways will burn beyond repair. This is not a path to glory. It is a conflagration.
I don't want glory. I want to know why I was chosen. If burning alive is the price, then I'll pay it.
The spirit withdrew into the stone, leaving only the hum of the counting. Sota stood alone, 5 billion deep, and chose to climb. Climbing, he struck a wall only to carve a doorway. A hidden chamber waited, untouched by time. Inside, a pedestal held ancient scrolls beneath a crest of a palm, radiating chakra rings.
This crest, it mirrors the shockwaves from my palm. Someone left this for me.
The scroll was written by a great-great-grandfather. It named the technique, kinetic palm, bound to blood, forged in isolation.
The true form of my palm strike, refined motion, not brute force. I've been hammering blind.
The scroll urged, meld the pulse with the breath, let the palm become a law, not a weapon. Sota practiced slowly, his palm leaving ghostly after images. Each motion bent the air softly, not to shatter, but to redirect.
I can feel the difference. This isn't destruction, it's control. The tower's structure is bleeding into my palm.
But as he refined the technique, the tower's fractures spread. Cracks raced up the spiral, groaning like a dying beast.
I don't have long. If the tower falls before I master this, I'll never know the truth.
As his palm stilled over the scroll, the hidden chamber's crest flared. The tower spirit reformed, its voice no longer sealed.
You have proven worthy. The architect of this tower was your great-great-grandfather.
Why? Why trap his own bloodline in a tomb of stone in silence?
He crafted isolation as the only forge hot enough to awaken the kinetic palm. Only the heir who endured could command it.
6 years alone. Each strike a test I didn't know I was taking. I am not a prisoner. I am the heir.
But 10 billion strikes will still consume you. The bloodline's final technique was never meant to be survived.
If I stop now, the years in here mean nothing. If I finish, maybe I'll finish. Maybe I'll finally understand why I exist. I'll reach the top and my palm will find the answer. Whatever price I pay is already spent.
The tower groaned, its spiraling wounds deepening. But Suta's gaze did not waver from the distant light.
9 billion to go. Then the summit. Then the truth, even if it buries me.
Sota drove his palm into the fractured air again and again, the count climbing by millions per hour. The spiral staircase split apart, massive stones cascading, dust choked the light from above.
7 billion. My palm doesn't tire, it feeds on the collapse. The tower and I are one wound now.
He climbed over debris, each step forcing him closer to the failing summit. The system blinked urgently. Palm, strike, count. 9 billion.
9 billion. The walls are weeping chakra. I can feel the final thresholds tearing the stone apart.
Great slabs of the tower fell away, revealing a crimson sky through the broken shell.
9.9 billion. The last gasp. If I stop, the count dies with me.
His hand hung in the air, shimmering with accumulated motion. The tower held its breath.
Now, the final climb. The 10 billionth strike waits above, and it will consume everything.
Suta bent his knees on the collapsing floor, then thrust both palms downward. Shockwaves launched him skyward. A massive stone slab broke free above him. He punched through it with a focused shockwave, shattering the rock.
The count ticks. 9.99 billion. The threshold tightens around me like a noose.
He climbed floor after floor. Then he saw it. A human silhouette standing against the dying light of the summit.
Someone is alive. After all this isolation, a figure waits at the summit.
The tower lurched. A barrage of stones plummeted toward him. Sauta twisted midair, his palm bending the debris aside.
It doesn't move. The figure is watching me climb, testing me.
He landed on a broken balcony. The silhouette was close now, an old man's shape, face still hidden in shadow.
I'll reach you. Whether friend, foe, or ghost, my palm will find the truth.
The system blinked. 9 billion. 999 million. Sauta pushed off the balcony, shockwaves pulverizing the stone behind him, and launched toward the apex. The apex platform crumbled under his feet. The silhouette turned, and the dust parted to reveal a face he never expected to see again.
Suta, you've broken the silence. I have waited 7 years.
You died. I held your funeral. This has to be another illusion, the tower's final test.
The tower roared. Great chunks of stone rained around them, but the old man did not flinch.
My palm is screaming to finish the count. But if he's real...
There is no time to explain. You must strike before the tower consumes us.
Strike? You want me to finish? While you stand here like a ghost?
The count blinked urgently. 9 billion, 999 million, 999,500. The threshold was a breath away.
Everything. 7 years, 10 billion strikes hinges on this moment. And my grandfather is the final gatekeeper.
I did not die, Sota. I had to vanish so you would enter this tower. Only desperation could ignite the bloodline.
You staged your own death. You sealed me in a tomb and watched me break myself for 7 years.
The Forbidden Spiral Tower was built by our great-great-grandfather. It was designed to force the kinetic palm. I manipulated your graduation test. I made certain you would be the last survivor, the one who would endure.
My squad, they died for his plan. I survived not through skill, but because he chose me.
The world outside is crumbling. Our bloodline holds the only technique that can oppose the coming calamity.
Suta remembered his 10-year-old self clutching a framed photo, weeping at an empty coffin.
You made me mourn you. You made me believe I was alone. Every scar I carved into these walls, you put there.
I bear that sin, but you must finish the 10 billion. The technique must be born, or my betrayal means nothing.
The count burned. 9,999,999,900. The tower's death rattle shook them both, but Sauta's palm only glowed hotter with wrath. Suta's palm lunged forward, a shockwave screaming toward Jin with all the force of 10 billion almost completed strikes.
He's not even trying to block. He's letting me decide.
The shockwave died an inch from Jin's chest. Sauta's palm froze, trembling.
I can't. Even after everything. I can't kill the only family I ever knew.
My life is already your inheritance. Strike or spare, I accept what you choose.
Suta's body gave way. He collapsed to his knees, the weight of 7 years crashing down.
I mourned you. I bled for a ghost. Every scar on my soul, you carved it.
The tower roared, huge stones plummeting around them. The count blinked. 9 billion. 999,999,950.
I can't finish. But if I don't, we both die here, and his betrayal means nothing. I won't give him his victory, but I won't become a murderer.
Jin slowly lowered himself to his knees on the broken stone, his lined face heavy with decades of hidden guilt.
All my sins are yours to judge, but the world needs the kinetic palm, and only you can complete it.
He's not asking for forgiveness. He's asking me to finish what this prison started.
Strike not for me, but for yourself. End the count and let the weight of these years find release.
You want me to turn my pain into a weapon for a world that threw me away?
I want you to turn it into a door. The only exit from this tower is through the 10 billionth strike.
The tower's center column buckled with a deafening roar. Seconds remained before total collapse.
He's right. Whether I hate him or not, this count won't end itself. Get up. We finish this, but not for you, for the boy who counted 1 7 years ago.
Jin rose, and together they climbed the last shattered steps toward the apex platform, where the final strike awaited. They stood on the highest stone circle, the count frozen at 9 billion, 999,999,999. Sota pulled his palm back one last time.
7 years, 10 billion. This palm is no longer just mine. It's the sum of every scar, every scream, every silent count. Kinetic palm, final strike.
His hand blurred forward. The shockwave didn't just crack the air, it unmade it. The system blazed white. Palm, strike, count. 10 billion, rank, beyond, beyond. The tower erupted. Its entire spiral split open from base to peak, stone disintegrating into chakra dust. A golden barrier flared around them. Jin's chakra, dense and protective.
We're alive. He shielded us even as the world ended.
The tower's death. Throws flung stone and light across the crimson sky, but the golden bubble held. When silence fell, they stood on a thin slab of floating stone, the tower reduced to a glowing crater below. The slab descended gently, carrying them to a grassy hill. Behind them, the tower's remains smoked into a clearing blue sky.
7 years. You let me rot because of a calamity? What could be worth this?
The world outside is dying. Gates are opening and monsters beyond rank are pouring through. Our bloodline technique is the only thing that can oppose them. I knew if I told you, you would train half-heartedly. Only true isolation could forge the kinetic palm to its limit.
He destroyed my childhood to save a world I haven't seen in 7 years.
I watched your count from the shadows. Every strike, I felt it. I aged a lifetime in those years, but I couldn't interfere.
He suffered too, in his own way. But that doesn't erase the coffin I buried.
The calamity is imminent. Without the technique, entire villages will vanish. You are the only hope.
So I am a weapon shaped by betrayal to fight a war I never chose.
The grass bent in the wind. Sota looked at his palm, still vibrating faintly with the beyond rank, and understood the weight he now carried.
After 10 billion strikes, it has to have a name. What do you call this thing I've become?
In the old scrolls, it was the heavenly palm that shatters fate. A technique meant to rewrite destiny. Our great-great-grandfather refined it, stripped it to pure kinetic law. He called it the kinetic palm.
Heavenly Palm. Kinetic Palm. Both names feel like they belong to someone else.
They do. Those were foundations. What you forged inside the tower has no name.
Then I'll name it with my life. It's not a jutsu. It's my breath. My blood. My years of silence.
Then let it be the palm that carries the silence. Or simply, your palm. It needs no title.
It is mine. The tower didn't give it to me. I carved it out of stone and flesh.
Sota closed his hand, the faint shockwave rings dissipating. He looked at Jin with eyes that had stopped burning. The technique had no name, but it had a master, and that was enough.
I can't call you grandfather like before. That bond died with your funeral.
I know. I buried it myself when I chose your future over your heart.
But I understand why you did it. The calamity isn't a lie, and this palm, it might be the only answer. I don't forgive you. The years don't wash off, but I won't waste what I've become.
That's more than I deserve. Let me walk beside you, not as a teacher, but as someone who will spend his remaining days making amends.
He means it. The guilt in his eyes is heavier than any stone I cracked. Walk, then, but I'll set the pace. And the first step is toward the nearest village. I need to see this world I've been forged to save.
Then, I'll follow. Not ahead, not behind. Beside you, when you allow it.
They stood in the shadow of the shattered tower, not as grandfather and grandson, but as two men bound by a painful inheritance. The silence between them had changed. It was no longer a prison, it was a truce. They walked a few paces when Sota tried to mold a simple chakra flame. His palm only flickered weakly, then died.
This isn't fatigue. My channels feel scarred. What happened to my chakra? It's like a river full of broken glass.
The tower burned out the pathways ordinary shinobi use. The kinetic palm devours them to sustain its power.
So I can never use another jutsu? No clone, no fire, no substitution.
Number. Your body is now an engine for the palm alone. That was the price of reaching beyond.
I traded my whole arsenal for one infinite strike. That's what 10 billion bought. And you knew this. From the start.
I knew. And I still chose it for you.
Then I'll make this one technique more terrifying than 1,000 others. It's all I have. It's always been all I have. Where do we even go from here? The tower is gone, and I don't know this world anymore.
Home. To the village I once called ours. We'll begin again, together.
Home. It hasn't been home for 7 years. Maybe it can be again.
They turned their backs on the smoking crater. The forbidden spiral tower was now only a scar on the landscape.
The world is harsh, but with that palm, we might just carve a safe place.
One step at a time, old man. Don't get ahead of yourself.
The path was overgrown, but the sky had cleared to a deep blue. Wind carried the scent of grass, not stone. The count of 10 billion was finished. The silence they carried now was not emptiness. It was a beginning. Suta glanced back once. The crater was already filling with rainwater, the tower's story sinking into the earth. Then he turned forward and walked on, his palm still faintly humming with the beyond, ready for whatever came next. Sota halted mid-stride and looked back one final time. The crater glinted like a dark mirror under the sun.
10 billion strikes ago. I was a boy who only knew how to mourn. Now I carry a silence that can break stone.
He opened his right palm. The air around it rippled instantly, a shockwave ring waiting just beneath the skin.
This is all that's left of me, and it's more than enough.
He closed his fingers slowly, the ripple collapsing into a quiet hum.
You don't need to count anymore, Sota. The world will count your strikes for you.
Then let it start counting. I've waited 7 years to draw a new breath.
Jin nodded once. No words were needed. The two shinobi walked on, side by side, toward a village that once held a funeral for one of them. Behind them, the crater swallowed the last echoes of 10 billion strikes. The silence that remained was no longer a prison. It was a promise